Here's a number that's going to confuse you. The United States has more registered soccer players than almost any country on the planet. Millions of American kids play organized soccer every single year. More than Argentina, more than Portugal, more than the Netherlands, more than most of the countries that have actually won World Cups. So here's the question that should be bothering you right now. If America has that many players, that much money, that many fields, that much infrastructure, why has the men's national team never even reached a World Cup final? Not once. Not close. In 96 years of trying. Most people blame the obvious things. They say Americans don't care about soccer enough. They say the best athletes play other sports. They say it's a cultural problem. Those answers are comfortable. They let everyone off the hook. But they're not the real reason. The real reason is something almost nobody outside of soccer circles ever talks about. It's not about passion. It's not about talent. It's about something far more uncomfortable. It's about money. And who gets left out because of it. To understand why the US struggles, you first need to understand how the rest of the world actually develops soccer players. Because it is completely different from how America does it. In almost every major soccer country on earth, professional clubs run their own youth academies. Barcelona has one. Real Madrid has one. Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Ajax, Boca Juniors. Every major club in the world runs a development system for kids as young as 6 or 7 years old. And here's the part that matters most. For the vast majority of these academies, it's free. A kid in a poor neighborhood in Sao Paulo, or Lagos, or Buenos Aires can be scouted by a professional club at age 8. If he's good enough, that club pays for his training, his equipment, sometimes his meals, sometimes his housing. The family pays almost nothing. Why would a billion-dollar club give away free training to a random 8-year-old? Because professional clubs in most of the world treat youth development as an investment, almost like a financial portfolio. If even one kid out of 1,000 becomes a star, that club can sell him for tens of millions of dollars. Clubs like Ajax in the Netherlands have built their entire business model around finding talented kids for free, developing them, and selling them to bigger clubs for massive profits years later. This means that talent identification in most of the world isn't limited by family income. A kid with no money and extraordinary skill has the exact same access to elite coaching as a kid born into wealth. The system is designed, whether intentionally or not, to find talent wherever it exists, regardless of who can afford it. That's the global model. Now let's look at how it works in the United States. In the United States, youth soccer doesn't work like that. At all. The dominant model in American youth soccer is called pay-to-play, and the name tells you exactly what it means. If you want your child to play competitive club soccer in America, the level of soccer where talented kids actually get noticed and developed, you have to pay for it. Often a lot. Here are real numbers. Competitive youth club soccer in the United States can cost a family anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 per year. That covers registration, uniforms, coaching fees, and tournament travel. And tournament travel is its own enormous cost. Families regularly fly across the country, multiple times per year, to compete in showcase tournaments where college scouts and development academy coaches are watching. When you add it all up, some families spend $10,000 or more per year just to keep their child in competitive youth soccer. Now think about what that means. It means that in the country with arguably the most soccer players on earth, the system for identifying and developing the best ones is built around a financial filter. Not a talent filter. A financial filter. A kid with extraordinary natural ability. The kind of generational talent that produces a Messi or a Mbappe, born into a low-income family in the United States, has a dramatically lower chance of ever being seen by the right coaches, ever playing in the right tournaments, ever getting the training that turns raw talent into a world-class professional. Meanwhile, in Brazil, in Nigeria, in Argentina, in France's Banlieues, some of the greatest players in World Cup history grew up with nothing. Pelé grew up shining shoes. Maradona grew up in a slum with no running water. Kylian Mbappe grew up in a housing project outside Paris. These are not exceptions in global soccer. This is the normal path for some of the greatest players who ever lived, because in their countries, poverty was never a barrier to being discovered. In America, for soccer specifically, poverty often is that barrier. Let's be specific about the scale of what's being lost. If competitive youth soccer in America is mostly accessible to middle and upper income families, that immediately excludes an enormous percentage of the talent pool. Studies on youth sports participation consistently show that low-income families are dramatically underrepresented in competitive club soccer compared to recreational, school-based sports like basketball or football, which require far less specialized equipment and travel. Basketball needs a hoop and a ball. American football, despite requiring equipment, is heavily subsidized through public school systems. Most American high schools field a football team funded largely by the school itself, with minimal cost to families. Competitive soccer, at the level required to actually develop a professional player, exists almost entirely outside of that public school structure in the U.S. It lives in private club systems that charge families directly. This creates a strange and specific outcome. In the United States, soccer often functions as a suburban, middle-class sport, while basketball and football are accessible across every income level, every neighborhood, every background. Think about what that means for talent. Some of the most explosive athletic talent in any country tends to emerge from communities facing economic hardship, not because poverty creates talent, but because in those communities, often there are fewer alternative paths to success, and sports become an enormous priority and outlet. In the U.S., that talent has historically funneled overwhelmingly into basketball and football. In Brazil, in Argentina, in Nigeria, that same demographic of explosive, hungry, undiscovered athletic talent funnels into soccer instead, because soccer is the free, accessible, dominant sport in those communities. America isn't lacking talent. America is almost certainly losing talent. Entire generations of kids who could have been generational soccer players, but who never had access to the system that would have found them. Now, to be fair, this is starting to change. Slowly, U.S. soccer and Major League Soccer have begun building free academy systems modeled directly after the European approach. MLS Next, the elite development pathway connected to Major League Soccer clubs, offers free or heavily subsidized training for the most talented young players the league can identify, regardless of family income. Clubs like FC Dallas, the LA Galaxy, and the New York Red Bulls have invested heavily in scouting talent from underserved communities specifically because they recognize this exact problem, that an entire generation of potential stars has been priced out of the sport. Christian Pulisic, one of the most talented American players in a generation, has spoken publicly about how fortunate his family was to be able to afford the travel and training costs that got him noticed. He has been outspoken about the need for the U.S. to fix this exact system. This is genuinely promising, but it took the soccer establishment in this country decades to even acknowledge the problem. And the World Cup happening right now, in 2026, is still being played by a generation of players who came up through the old, expensive, exclusionary system. The next generation might look different. The 2030 or 2034 World Cup team might draw from a much wider, much more diverse, much more talented pool than anything America has fielded before. But that's the future. Right now, in 2026, you're watching the result of a broken pipeline, one that has nothing to do with how much Americans love soccer and everything to do with who gets the chance to be discovered. So here's what you now understand that most people watching this World Cup don't. America's struggle in soccer was never about a lack of love for the game or athletes choosing other sports out of preference. It's about a development system that, for decades, filtered talent by family income instead of ability, while the rest of the world built systems designed to find greatness no matter how poor the kid wearing the boots. The next time someone tells you Americans just don't have soccer in their blood, you'll know the real answer is more complicated and more uncomfortable than that. It's not about blood, it's about access. Tomorrow on this channel, we go inside the actual USA squad for 2026. Who's on it, who their best player is, and whether this finally, could be the World Cup where the pipeline problems don't matter as much as the talent that broke through anyway. Drop a comment below. Did you know about the pay-to-play system before this video? Subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.